quite possibly the finest Gretzky rookie that we've ever brokered. This is a card which is one of those rare examples where the quality is just so far beyond what you typically see that it warrants special designation. In the world of investment caliber Hall of Fame rookie cards, every sport has its short list of immortals, and from hockey, if there's any one brand that I think is the number one most pervasive, it's got to be Wayne Gretzky. He's uniquely positioned, almost like Jordan for basketball, where he kind of bridges the gap from the vintage world to the modern world. He took the game where it was and largely took it to the next level. And it's always these guys that change the game, which are the ones that we as investors most hotly pursue. Gretzky is that guy. When you get a nickname, the Great One, that doesn't come easily. So just a very important investment piece, but that's just where the story starts. After that, what you have is a card that has all kinds of condition issues. The O-Pee-Chee production, as most people know, printed in Canada. They had a different cutting press, and what we've learned is that they used sort of a cheaper steel blade that they didn't sharpen very often, and they did it because they were paid based on the quantity of cards they were able to cut. It just produced a very rough, jagged edging. There's also all kinds of centering misalignments and other issues that stemmed out of the hastily produced production methods. Quality examples are very rare. Centered examples are extremely rare. What we have here is one of the finest examples I think that the world has ever seen, and especially when you consider what a PSA 10 is worth. We're looking at multiple seven figures now for an O-Pee-Chee 10, of which there are only two. This 9 is as close to a 10 as I think anyone could plausibly see and still be in the 9 holder. It's so good. It's got edges that frankly don't exist. It's about as cleanly cut as you'll ever see for this issue. Just a couple microscopic little bits of rough cut along the edge in a couple spots, but I mean they never look like this. And I think what you can probably conclude is that this card was probably on the top sheet very recently after the blades had been sharpened or cut, and so what you have is a very clean cut for an O-Pee-Chee, almost unheard of quality in that regard. Next, what you have is a centering. I mean, it's a dead centered 50-50 example. You never see that. I mean, even really nice examples are rarely centered 50-50 like this. This is really a shocking example in that regard. Top to bottom and right to left, it's all there. And then the last thing that I think is really noteworthy is the print quality. We have almost no blemishes in the blue borders. We have a couple microscopic dots that we'll point out, but I mean that's about as well printed the blue borders as you'll ever get. No major fisheyes, no major white print flaws. In the center we have a print quality which is also exceptional, very smooth and well conditioned throughout. There's not a lot of like print snow or anything else that you could really point at as saying it was an inferior print. Just all told, soup to nuts, it's just these microscopic little bits of imperfection, a couple corner touches here and there that kept the card a 9. But overall, this has got to be one of the best 9s in the world. It's a recipient of our above average or our exceptional designation, which on our scale there are 3. This is saying it's in the top 15%. That might be conservative. I don't know if there's been a 9 that we've seen better than this. It's basically saying that we think the card, arguably graded correctly, is about the nicest you're ever going to see for that assigned grade. That's what the E really represents. And this card, I think people, as they zoom in, take a look at the high-res details, they'll agree. Again, like rarely do you see an edge this cleanly cut. It's just unbelievable. A little bit of microscopic like edge chipping associated with the rough cut as it exists. Normally that's a pretty egregious issue along the edge. You have like white chipping all along this edge, and that's even for like mint copies. We have a microscopic print dot there in that lower border. Maybe just the tiniest of touches to this upper left corner. That corner is probably about 10. Lower right, again, microscopic touch. Maybe just a little bit of, tiny chipping here along the bottom edge. But I mean, it's just, for anyone who studies these O-Pee-Chees, they really just don't look like this. This is really a unique, almost a unicorn example. That would be true based on the cut if it was a 5, but the fact that it's also a dead centered, perfectly preserved example, if you're in the market for the best of the best, what we're noticing is that the market, as it matures, is increasingly focused on quality, as it should be. This is not your average 9. You can forget the traditional sale prices. This is a card which far exceeds what a typical 9 is worth. And again, comparing the value of a 9 to a 10, this is as close to a 10 as I think a 9 is ever going to get. This card is a steal. So forget the traditional sale prices. This one is worthy of special consideration. We wish people the best of luck with the bidding. It's virtually irreplaceable.